Welcome to WandaVision Nights, the WandaVision podcast live show. I'm Randy.
I'm Melanie.
And I'm Jesse.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? By the way, Jesse, I'm sorry to cut you off. I was sorry to cut you off. You were saying something as we went about to go live, so.
No, you're good. I shouldn't continue that.
I heard part of it, and I was like, okay, his mic got cut. Okay, good. Maybe a preview of what's to come. So, here's what's on the agenda tonight. The feature topic will be WandaVision. I realize it's only been a week since the last episode of WandaVision. Everybody's probably already talked out of it because that's how fast things move. But hey, the series is done, so let's talk about it.
It was WandaVision all along.
But was it? That was a lie. Anyway, so there will be spoilers if you haven't caught up on WandaVision yet. I don't know how you would avoid spoil.
Oh man, at this point, no.
No, yeah. And then also I know Melanie and I have watched a ton of movies, so we're going to try to run through that in a new old news segment. In our goal to our ever failing goal, our ever failed goal.
I was going to say ever expanding goal, but you're not wrong.
To get in our quest to make shorter episodes that we struggle with so hard. I'm going to try to keep these to 2-minute reviews if that's enough time. If it's not, they'll be longer. But yeah, so recent viewing, new segment, Paul. That's right. Hey, Paul, what's going on? Because we've got a bunch of movies we're going to run through real quick, and so we're going to handle those.
We used to call it recent reads, but we don't read anymore.
No, I only like things that do the work for me, like movies. I don't need my imagination when I'm watching a movie. And then, the classic segment, the best segment. We'll wrap it up with some Snyder Watch.
Mm-hmm.
The time is limited on that Snyder Watch segment, I'll tell you that much. Yeah. Hey, Savannah. Sorry.
I was done.
Okay. What up from Melanie?
Yep.
Are people is there going to be Snyder Watch news after next week? Because
oh my goodness. I didn't envision a world beyond Snyder Watch. The way this year's been going.
I mean, it seemed like it was never going to actually happen.
Mm-hmm.
Paul coming to an end, he says.
Back to the good old days when all I could think was, it's going to suck.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's jump right into it. First off, hey, whoever's watching, I see Savannah, I see Paul. What have you guys been watching? Anything? And have you watched WandaVision? Did you like it? Those are the things that I'm asking the chat today.
Those are the key things we're talking about today.
Then release the Snyder Watch book. Wait. Oh, like a comic based on the Snyder Cut stuff? I know that's a thing that's happening.
Really?
Oh, Savannah
no,
says
the Snyder Watch book. Like we could just
we can write a
book about our Snyder Watch escapades, where we watched a video of Snyder skateboarding that one time.
Oh, it's a chronicle of our chronicles.
Yeah,
of the Snyder Cut.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay.
I mean, if we want someone to draw it, it won't be me. But yes.
I know there actually is a book about it in the works from, I don't know, just some guy. But there's also, I believe DC was doing some comics based on the Snyder universe. Paul says, yes, WandaVision, and I've been watching Highlander. Been watching as in the Highlander series? Because that sounds like an ongoing viewing thing versus the movie. Because there can only be one. And that one is the first Highlander movie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's true, because 2 was a hot mess.
Is there a new Highlander series?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, well, just checking.
There can be only one
Mm-hmm.
series.
Highlander is a thing that honestly, if they remade Highlander, I know we're not doing a proper react at the news, but we already did it where we were talking about Edgar Wright remaking or doing a new version of Running Man.
Mm-hmm.
Highlander is a good movie, but I think it could be done. It could be remade in an interesting way. Unfortunate.
Without Rutger Hauer?
No, it's going to be CGI James Dean as Rutger Hauer, of course.
Okay, fair enough. I'm in. I'm in. They had me at that.
I mean, I don't think it would be good. It would be crap. But that's a premise that I think has enough legs that wasn't totally explored as much as it could.
I'm going to need 2 CGI characters. CGI James Dean and CGI Sean Connery.
Right.
Then I'm in. I redacted my original being in, and now I have to be in more conditionally.
Christopher Lambert, but he has to be playing the role as Raiden from the Mortal Kombat movie from the 90s.
He was a lot more cocksure in that, so
Right.
the confidence matters. So when you're God of Lightning,
Paul says there is a legit Snyder book coming out. Sean O'Connell is the author, and boy, is it controversial. I actually have
whatever. I'm sure it was there all along.
Did they buy the book? And then he's like, yeah, no, it's done.
I'm just going to need $2 million to finish it.
Paul says watching the old Highlander series. Okay. I never got into it. That was like a USA channel type show or something. I don't know if it was on USA, but it felt like that budget, you know, that like basic cable production back. That's a little bit different now because you actually
back
get
when
some,
it was like we're gonna need $2,000 to finish it.
right,
Yeah.
right. Cable shows now are different. Just thinking about some of the stuff that like basic cable shows like FX definitely puts money into their productions, or at least they did. I don't know what they're doing these days, but Legion definitely looked like money sometimes, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me consult my notes. I'm very curious about your recent reviews, Jesse. So do you want to kick one off? You want to kick off
sure.
our recent
I mean,
whatevers? Because
I mean, right off the top, we've only been gone 1 week, right?
yeah. By the way, you know what? Pin that for just a moment. Yeah, we missed last week, and since we missed last week, first off, we have to say happy birthday, Jesse.
Happy birthday, Jesse.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
We also have to say happy anniversary to Melanie and I.
Happy anniversary to you, baby.
Which means that it is a birthday-versary.
You're right. And it was also the anniversary of the Grolix podcast itself. We got that 7-year itch.
Birthday-versary trifecta.
2021
With a 7-year itch.
Birthday-versary trisecta. We got that 7-year itch. And there's no cream for it.
No. I'm gonna take a shot.
Oh, Paul says he's watching Highlander series for research purposes. Hashtag bullspit.
Oh, is that
spoiler.
he's throwing out spoilers for his show. That's good though. That's good. I mean,
Yeah.
we did ask. So you
Yeah.
should check out Bullspit with Moose, because especially if you like Highlander stuff, there may be something coming.
Right. All right. Sorry to cut you off there, Jesse. So what were you saying?
Shot to the heart, and you're to blame. You gave love a bad name.
Wait, okay? So what is the drinking? What's the game tonight? Is it gonna be
I
like?
don't know yet.
Is
I
it
haven't
Bon
gotten that
Jovi
far.
lyrics or something?
It might be. That's a great idea. No, so anyways, the 7-year itch, we can't clear it up with a shot. I got a shot. So that's the segue. Yeah. So I got a shot. I got the Johnson & Johnson one and done COVID-19 vaccination, and it sucked.
Really? In
The
what way?
spoilers well, basically in the side effects way. Now, I don't know. Maybe you guys have heard different things, but like I have not heard from anyone
Mhm.
that's gotten the vaccine that they didn't have side effects.
Really? Okay.
Maybe there are people out there that aren't having side effects, but everyone I'm talking to has had side effects. And I'm not saying that's a reason not to get the vaccine. It's just
No,
a
yeah.
reason to plan ahead. That's a reason to plan ahead. And I did. But I went full man flu on this baby. So
Yeah.
I got the vaccine on Tuesday afternoon at like 4:00. And I was good for like almost 10 hours on the nose, which I had previous warning from super friend of the show, Axton. We've talked to Axton in the past. We've talked about Axton in the past. He got it on Saturday, and 10 hours later, he felt awful. 10 hours later, I had chills, like body racking chills and a fever. And then I had a low grade fever or just a regular fever for basically the most part of the next day. So that was an experience. So that's my review of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine.
I was going to say, I
recent
love
review.
that you led the recent reviews with COVID-19 vaccine.
Uh,
Hey,
It's not political.
No?
It's just how we're living right now.
I have actually, it's not me, but I have an opposite review just because
Okay.
my sister Jennifer is like the world's biggest hypochondriac. She always thinks she's dying of something. I love her to death, but she's like, she'll call me at 3:00 in the morning. I think I'm having a heart attack. And I'm like, no, you're not, Jenny, go back to sleep. Because she's not, because she never is. She's just always thinks she is. She got it on Saturday and she has been fine. And I was really surprised because I was waiting for her to be like, I'm dying. But she didn't. And that's weird because I actually have some other friends that have gotten it and they also had some reactions. And so for her not to was just kind of amazing to me.
Well, there we go. There's confirmation that there is someone that has not had side effect reactions. So
but in general, plan for feeling like crap
yeah,
for about
still
a day.
plan on it. Still plan on it, especially if you're getting the J&J. I don't, like the other ones I've heard much lesser reactions because you're getting kind of like part of it and then the other part of it. But J&J is one and done, so stands to reason that might be a little more intense, and it was. It sucked.
I don't even know when I'd be up. Since I never leave the house, I'm assuming I'm pretty low priority. And I worked remotely before all this, so I have no idea when that's on my horizon.
It does feel good to have it like check that box. It was not awesome, but it's over, so it's good. Other things, I really haven't done anything in terms of like watching new media because I thought we had been off for 2 weeks in a row. We haven't. It was only a week.
Right. It felt like it was a long one though.
It did. A lot of things happened in that week for whatever reason. So I basically just read old Daredevil comics instead of watching television. So there's that. I don't know, like old like Typhoid Mary. I was
right.
We had been talking about that back when Daredevil season 3 hit, I believe. And I started the Typhoid Mary storylines, and it's a long arc. So I went back to it because I just was in the mood too, and it's interesting watching and reading those old things. So. And then the last thing is for my birthday, I often like splurge and get something ridiculous that I have no merit in buying. And so I got this black obsidian Silver Surfer figure. He's got the Thor hammer. He has the Thor hammer.
Wow.
It even has the inscription on it. It's awesome. I have no business buying this other than it's flippin' rad.
Yeah.
It is pretty rad for sure.
So, I mean, other than that, I have no business buying this because I don't know what storyline this is from. I never read a storyline where he had Thor's hammer and he was obsidian. I actually had to ask Ben Kruger, our good friend Ben, where in the crud this storyline happened, and so I will be reading it, but I don't know. But I bought it on, judge a book by its cover alone because that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is.
And that's all I got.
Do you think we're ever going to get a Silver Surfer in the MCU?
I hope so, but he's got to be so much better than the last one we got. And
Right.
and we had not Neo, we had Morpheus himself as the Silver Surfer. Like, how do you mess that up? Oh, that's right. Same way you mess up Doctor Doom.
Right.
By involving that Doctor Doom.
Well, I think that's a decent segue into. So since, the last episode we did was on the 25th of last month. So it's been 2 weeks. I mean, we missed just one episode, but it's been 2 weeks. And we, like I mentioned, Melanie and I watched a bunch of movies, including conveniently starting with. Wait, where'd my timer go? 2-minute timer going. Spider-Man: Far From Home. I don't think we talked about this.
No.
Finally, I mean, I don't know
think
why.
so.
I don't know why it took
Man,
so
yeah.
long, but we finally got to Spider-Man.
Buckle
Far
up,
From Home.
friends. True believers.
I liked it. I mean, I liked the first one. I liked it a lot. I enjoyed it quite a bit. In fact, Thor Ragnarok aside, I think that Spider-Man movies might be my favorite that are tied into the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
They're just fun.
Yeah.
Which is it's Spider-Man, so that's totally appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
Should be fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom Holland, man.
Tom Holland's good, and I'll get back to him later. But I really liked. Okay, so Mysterio, the villain. It's a little, I guess, interesting take on him. But I loved how kind of meta it was. First off, the movie is like, Tony, we love Tony. Where's Tony?
Right.
So then, of course, the villain's like, F Tony, and it's just a group of people who hated Tony Stark.
And it's like the hashtag too soon group. Like, we're like,
yes.
We've been waiting forever for that guy to die.
Mm-hmm.
And I also loved that the villain of this superhero movie is essentially just a dude in a mocap suit. How perfect. It's such a meta.
Spoilers, guys.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I mean, if you know anything about Mysterio, that shouldn't surprise you too much.
Right.
But
even if you don't, because I don't, and I was like, he's a bad guy, isn't he?
Oh, I love that you weren't 100% sold at first, as like you didn't know for sure that he was a villain, but it is pretty obvious to see where it's going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sorry for that spoiler, but it's great. It's great when it's just like he's even just wearing a mocap suit. It's just like,
yeah,
that is what they look like, and it's great. Time's up.
And he's kind of a diva too. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I like, what's his name? It's
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, I like him anyway in certain roles, and this was a good one for him. I think he fit it well.
Yeah.
Best possible rendition of Mysterio, because I had my doubts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just like making him the main villain of anything. He can be done so well, and I have a fondness and appreciation for that character, but he could be done so poorly. I actually have a fondness and appreciation for Electro, and then Jamie Foxx happened. And I
Right.
don't blame Jamie Foxx because that dude can act. I blame whoever the heck wrote that nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, yeah, in situations like that, it's not. I mean, the actor's just signed on for whatever, but sometimes just the creative vision is flawed. The interpretation of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I give that 4 stars. I liked it a lot.
I don't know if I would go that high, but it was good.
You seem to enjoy it more than I would have expected.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm laughing at our one YouTube question.
I did mention Five Nights at Freddy's in the thing, didn't I? Hey, Michelle, I honestly couldn't answer that question. I'll put it up on the screen for people. I don't know. I'm not that familiar with Five Nights at Freddy's.
I mean,
I
as
don't
a
know.
cis male, there's like only two options, right?
Are there? I don't know. Are they sexy?
Bonnie or Chica, right? Isn't that it?
Dude, I've never played it. I have no idea.
I don't know.
But Michelle, thank you for your question because you set up the perfect segue. The next movie Melanie and I watched was Willy's Wonderland, which is related in that it is kind of like they're like, let's make a Five Nights at Freddy's movie, except we're not going to bother to buy the license, so we have to change it a bit. I mean, Five Nights at Freddy's is in itself not the most original thing. It's creepy animatronic. It's animatronic. It's showbiz pizza, but things are wrong, you know?
Mm-hmm. Which is showbiz pizza anyway. I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah. Those animatronics never worked. Who are we kidding?
Or Chuck E. Cheese for anyone who's not nearly as old as us. Not that we're old, but
Rocket Fire Explosion.
But Willy's Wonderland is.
No, I did not.
Oh yeah, Savannah asked if you ever finished Resident Alien. I don't know what is that.
Ooh, I watched the very first episode of that. That was a good pilot or whatever.
What's it on?
Sci-fi, and it's Alan Tudyk as an alien that's having to pretend to be a doctor or something.
Mm-hmm.
Savannah highly recommends it. Oh, and I'm gonna hit my timer here. Yeah. Okay, Willy's Wonderland. Like I said, Five Nights at Freddy's. Basically, that's kind of the idea. That's the setting. It's creepy, rundown old place. Guy has to work there. Through a situation, he has to work there overnight. That guy happens to be Nic Cage. He has no dialogue. He's the main character. Mm-hmm. Says nothing. The entire movie. It's okay. It should be better. Even if they made went worse with it, it would be better. There's just certain things like when the first spoilers animatronic creature whatever attacks, it's so there's no build up to it. There's no attempt to be suspenseful. There's no nothing. It's just the stupid bird thing runs up to him and it's oh, and the camera they do the thing where they speed up the camera so it's oh, and then Nic Cage just turns around and beats the crap out of him and that's the big it's happening. I mean, it's we're watching the movie. We know it's gonna happen, but at least pretend wine and dine us a little bit before you just jump in there.
So wait, This is a movie.
Mm-hmm. It's a movie.
It's based off of a video game.
What?
The whole conceit is jump scares, and it can't nail the jump scare.
Oh no!
Oh no! There's I don't know if there's any jump scares in this really.
I don't think there is.
Yeah.
Oh, fail.
Right.
The biggest jump scares are when Nic Cage goes on break, probably.
It's intriguing. Paul had messaged me after he said, because right now you can watch it, but it's just a rental. Paul had messaged and asked if it was worth the $20 because it's a $20 rental, and I was like, ooh. It should be worth it, but or maybe not $20 rental. Maybe it's just for digital purchase. I don't know, but it's entertaining. Not worth $20 in my opinion, and that's primarily an execution. And then every character that's not Nic Cage, and mind you, he has no dialogue. Every character that's not him just sucks. They're just not good characters. It's just pretty lame. But
it also has a questionable moment. This is a little bit spoilers, but not really. A moment when I'm like, I don't think that's legal. How old is that girl? But that's just,
Oh, right. The Nic Cage character himself, it's Nic Cage, but it's a mix of I don't know. It's intriguing what they do with him. You never get like any information about him. But this is going to be slight spoilers as well. But for example, he's put in the situation, so he's working, and then he takes a break every so often. He's got a timer, and he is dedicated to taking that break regardless what else is happening. Some kids are being murdered by animatronics. His timer goes off. He stops, walks away, and takes his break. Doesn't care.
Oh.
Plays some pinball, drinks his punch soda or whatever it is, his energy drink, and then his break's up. Then he goes and starts like attacking the things. So that's interesting, but it's like kind of also why?
Mm-hmm. And yeah, and it because he doesn't talk and nobody there knows him, it never really explores any of his backstory or his character even really at all. So, yeah. So that's fun. That's probably my favorite part of it. Oh, well, there you go, Jesse. I guess you only have one choice.
Chica
Bonnie
is
is the guy.
I guess. I mean, they're robots, so I don't know.
I mean, if they're robots, does gender really matter?
No.
Well, I guess not.
They're robots.
I will say if what is it, Willy's Wonderland, at least has 2 females in it, so.
Oh, shame on you, FNAF. Get your act together.
You're
if
right,
Bonnie is a guy, then you got work to do. Representation matters. And why is the only chick called Chica and basically wears like a boomer's kind of outfit kind of thing? What's that about? That's
sounds quite
questionable.
stereotypical.
Yeah, it's kind of wrong.
Okay, we also watched. Oh, and just because I gave it 2.5 stars, almost 3, I was entertained. If it was better, solid 3 stars.
If it was better, I would have rated it better.
If it were better, I'd give it a middle of the road.
Middle of the road. As it is, I enjoyed it, but it's not amazing. I'm not sure what you could do to make it better, but it could have been better. Bill and Ted, Face the Music. We finally watched it.
Oh my God, you hadn't seen it.
We had not seen it yet.
Does it live up to the hype? Because like it released at a time where we needed joy so badly that it could have been utter crap, and we all would have loved it.
Right.
Because we did.
That's one of the. I mean, I guess there were a couple, but that's like, in my mind, I don't know how much attention it actually got. One of the higher profile movies that actually did release last year.
Right.
Michelle, some of them have breasts. You are
Robots?
on this topic. I enjoyed it. Melanie and I were just talking about Keanu Reeves last night. I'm increasingly concerned about his health, but Keanu's okay. The other guy was amazing.
Alex Winter was amazing. He
He's-
just
Yeah.
slipped right into it. Yeah.
I was kind of
agree.
like, and that's something I was saying last night. Is like, how is it Bill had all the charisma and Keanu didn't in this? Like, but whatever, I guess they're aging the characters appropriately, are dealing with getting older as well.
Well, also like Ted has got the most doubts in this movie too.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like,
They kind of leaned into his older demeanor better, in the story. They did that okay. Tonally, yeah, it fits. It was fun. The end was a little like, I don't know. I wasn't crazy.
I
about
mean,
the
they're
end.
all, but I mean, if you think about them critically, they all end that way.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like on stage, San Dimas, high school football rules, like there's that whole thing. And then there's the God gave rock and roll to us. We're Kiss now. I mean, like they all end that way.
Okay, our time's up. But as a purely, essentially fan service movie, like I think it's pretty good. It does well.
Yeah.
I like the daughters, but I kind of wish they would have, with how Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves played their characters, where they're still Bill and Ted, but it's not like they weren't quite as amped up. I kind of wish the daughters would have pulled back their impersonations basically a little
Mhm.
bit. But whatever, they're fine. The one chick's the babysitter, and that's what I will
Yeah.
forever refer to her as, and she's great. So
Yeah, I the one comment I'm gonna add about this is I wish they would have made them their own. I mean, be their daughters, but be their own people and not little female caricatures of them. And it would have made the movie more interesting, I think.
The one thing I'll say on top of that though is that they're far more intelligent than either of their fathers.
That's because they're women. So
yeah, no, I did
That's
think
fair.
that they really were more intelligent, and
They get music.
and even
Mhm.
though like the people that they cast as like some of the musicians they went back was like kind of like really okay, that's a weird, it's not the best, but there, and technically slight spoilers, like none of that really mattered, like none of that
Right.
really had an effect. It wasn't necessary, but there were some fun scenes like when they show up to pick up, was it Mozart or Beethoven? Who did they go?
it was Mozart.
Mozart, and Jimi Hendrix like is playing the guitar out there. They're kind of having like a musical duel. I love that part. I
That
thought
was
that was a lot of
awesome.
fun.
That was great.
hmm so yeah,
Well,
it's
and then
fun.
they was it they lure the cave, maybe it was the caveman out because he's playing the riff from Extreme on the very first movie's soundtrack
What,
on a
really?
flute. Yeah,
Oh, nice.
believe so. I believe it was the Extreme riff, and it was being played on a flute, and it was like, well, I'm gonna follow you. I'm gonna be the drummer.
Yeah.
And I really, sorry,
No, go ahead.
it ran with Bill and Ted. I knew this was going to be
It's
one of the
Bill
ones that
and
would take
Ted.
a little bit more time. It's about time. So, oh, um, it's kind of, I guess, a riff on the second movie, to where the second movie it was evil versions of them, but they were robots. In this one, it's literally just them, but the future them are they're jerks, and I love how like kind of scuzzy and underhanded they are from just
Yeah.
like a couple years of the future. And it's not evil robots; it's just them in the future, and that's
Right.
I enjoyed that concept.
Just because they can't solve their own problems.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they're,
Yeah.
they're like, he's just got a gun pointed at him, not even thinking about like what that would mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the most Bill and Ted way to handle things, really. We're
Yeah.
like, I don't care.
They even say, they're like, it'll all make sense in the end. And it's like, well, it's like, don't worry about plot holes. It's not why we're here.
We set up the cage. We set up the guns, dude. Why? Why did you set up a cage?
Did you guys have anything else you wanted to say about Bill and Ted?
I really enjoyed it,
Mhm.
but it was just because it was the ray of light we needed at that moment in time. So, did it hold up? Was it okay?
It was okay, but I'm going to venture a guess that it was okay because I grew up watching Bill and Ted. I think if we just took some kid from now and had them watch it, they'd be like, "What is this?" You know what
Right.
I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely not. I mean, any of the Bill and Ted's for, I don't know what a kid now would think of them. I would assume if they're a kid, they'd still get some enjoyment out of them. But it definitely does not stand on its own, I don't think.
Right.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
it's-
I think given time, because right now it's like, oh, it was so much joy, it was so much light in a moment of darkness. But given time, it's like, does it hold up to the first or even the second one? Because I love me the second one. I can watch the
Mhm.
second one on its own. I don't know that it holds up.
Mhm.
Paul says his daughter loved it. Was she familiar with the other two? I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. She's a kid, so okay, interesting. Well, I would think they're goofy enough. They're not necessarily cartoony, but they are more along the lines of, it's got a goofy, over the top feel. All the movies do, that I think would appeal to kids,
Mhm.
even if it's not necessarily of their time.
Mhm.
It had me at hello because it was Bill and Ted. But
Yeah.
2 will
Right.
probably always be my favorite because it's just so bonkers. It's just so out of control weird.
Speaking of the sequel being the better movie, Randall, do you remember something else that we watched?
Yeah, I do. Okay, you want to get to that one?
Yeah.
All right. Well, what I only vaguely, Melanie, what did we watch? Tell me about it and why we watched it.
We watched Addams Family Values because I made Randall watch it because he had never seen it, and
You've never seen it?
I feel it is superior to the original.
It's too legit to quit.
I do love it, but the second one is definitely my favorite. So Addams Family Values, I love it. I love Joan Cusack. I love all of it. And I don't think Randall was as impressed with it as he should have been. But
so I am surprised I hadn't seen it because I loved the first one when I was obviously a kid when it came out. The first movie based on the Addams Family TV show, that came out in the 90s. And I'd seen that movie a million times. And yes, too legit to quit. And I was even telling Melanie, I was like, if this movie doesn't have the Addams Family rap song, it ain't crap. And it did have an Addams Family rap song at the end.
Yeah. That's the one that this was created. Yeah.
Oh man, people are outraged. Paul says, "What? Savannah, you've never seen Addams Family Values? WTF?" I had seen enough of this stuff in clips that I thought maybe I'd seen it, but I wasn't sure. I don't recall ever sitting down and watching the whole thing, and I don't think I did ever sit down and watch the whole thing because this was a first-time watch for me. I know it is surprising. I think the only one I haven't seen is the Tim Curry one. Oh, he was in an Addams Family movie, wasn't he?
Debbie. I love Debbie.
Yeah, Savannah's Debbie, though. So, all right, listen. It was good. There's actually a lot of... This is, I think, and the first one too, but maybe more so this one. It's been a long time since I watched the first one. They're Addams Family. It's goofy. It's cartoony. So, yes, it's going to appeal to kids. But I was actually kind of surprised at how much of the actual humor is not for kids at all. Like, the most of the dialogue and the little jokes... They're not even, they're just not for kids. Like, there's some dirty, gross jokes in this. That's not outright vulgar, but it's like, dude, some of the...
I love that weird, family values is in the name of this.
Some of the weird, kind of off-the-cuff sex jokes with Uncle Fester, super creepy.
Yeah.
Real
Christopher
creepy.
Lloyd, friends. So good.
Man.
Wait, can I the line? I love this is one of my favorite parts from the movie where Savannah mentions the girl says, "I'll play the victim," and Wednesday replies, "All your life."
That got a big laugh out of me. I liked the camp stuff. I think where I don't know that I like it. I don't know if I'd call it better than the first is because it had the camp premise, which was okay. It had the Debbie stuff, and yes, the Debbie character was very interesting. But it almost mirrored a little bit too much the whole, is Uncle Fester, or is it just somebody trying to get Uncle Fester's money? It kind of mirrored the, like, just somebody trying to get Fester's money, the Addams Family money. And so I wasn't super wild about that on its own, but like it's still different enough. But the two parts, things would just happen that I felt like, it just felt like more like a couple ideas loosely strung along than nicely interwoven like maybe the first movie was a little bit. For example, I don't remember why there's dance scenes in the first one, but there are, and I feel like they were appropriate. In this one, there's a dance scene just because they went out to eat, and we got to have a dance scene. It felt a little sequel-itis-y, where...
Okay, the dance scene thing is probably a good criticism because the dance scene in the first one is because Fester has come home and Gomez is so overjoyed that he throws a party.
And I get, though, like, the first one had the benefit of... It's also kind of introducing the Addams Family to viewers. So like there's that built-in, like, just them being there is enough of a premise to run with for most of the movie and have it feel cohesive. And this one, I don't know. It was entertaining though. It was way better than that Addams Family CGI movie looked. I'm judging a movie by its trailer on that one. I was not interested in that CGI movie that came out like 2019 maybe.
Yeah.
I just don't think you have enough love of Joan Cusack. If you did, you would very easily see
She's
this
pretty great.
for the gem it is.
So my favorite thing in this movie is Morticia Adams' face light. Every scene she's lit where it's like she's in shadow, but she's got the light across her face, across her eyes, you know?
Yep.
That kind of like creepy lighting they do. Every scene where she'll be standing next to a character where they're normally lit and she's still like in shadow with light across her eyes. And it became a game, not a game, but it became a thing I'd watch where I'd be like, okay, does she have it in this scene? Yep, every scene. The only time she didn't have it is when she was walking across the room, and by the time she'd hit her mark and turn, boom, face light is there. And I was like, I love that detail. I love that they were like, if she's on camera, she's got to be lit that way.
She's got to be washed out white.
It's so good. It's so good.
And even he mentioned to me, because he had already noticed this at the beginning of the show or the movie, at one point, I think it's when Fester and Debbie are supposed to be falling in love, and I think maybe they're in the cemetery even, I don't know, but she does this, it's like, oh, she like falls back, and then she also has the light like just right there, you know, in that line across. It's pretty good.
Oh, real quick,
What?
Let me just pull up a screen share here. Just so people, I mean, I think people know what we're talking about, but yeah, no, it's every scene in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
She's lit like that, and it's fantastic. And I don't remember, maybe they did that in the first one too, but I don't remember for sure. But in this one, like they go to the hospital because she's gonna have a baby at the beginning, and she's on, like, they're rolling her down the thing, and it cuts to her as she's laying on the gurney or whatever, and she's got it, and you know, whatever, it's good. That was my favorite thing. So
Yeah.
3.5.
3.5.
Oh,
3.5.
Oh, better than middle of the road.
Better than middle of the road. I could maybe go 4. I don't know. I think it maybe does get pinged.
It does have an Addams Family rap.
You're right. Maybe that on its own
And we
deserves
found
that extra half star to go to 4.
we also found out that Isaac from Children of the Corn, if you're a Children of the Corn fan, he's the little creepy preacher boy that dies in the first one and then comes back in like the 6th. He plays Cousin It.
Yeah,
Huh.
in both those movies.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I would just wouldn't have an appropriately creepy act. Well, maybe he's not creepy in real life, but in a good creepy casting for a character that you just never even see. So I appreciated that.
Yeah. Unlike Snoop Dogg, 2019.
Oh, really? Is he in?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe that's who they cast as it.
Oh.
Does he talk?
I don't know. I haven't seen it yet, so
Why would they cast anybody?
I don't
They just
know.
need somebody to go.
No, yeah, and
I'm sure they Snoop Dogg it up though.
That shit.
he's way
have
too
to.
tall. He's way too tall to be Cousin
Well,
It.
yeah, but
Well,
I mean,
it's
this is
CGI,
CG
so he's just
right.
yeah,
Oh.
it's just his voice.
That's why.
Okay.
That's what makes it more ridiculous. Why cast Snoop Dogg as a character whose voice is right?
Mhm. Okay, I have one last thing to say, and it's just I'm responding to Savannah. Malibu Barbie, because that's the best. God, it's the best line. Anyway.
Okay. Speaking of Spider-Man, the devil all the time.
Oh, because Tom Holland. Oh,
Savannah says, "Ugh, get out with the 2019 Addams Family. It's like Blues Brothers 2000. They don't freaking count. I mean, they exist, but it doesn't mean I'm gonna watch them."
right.
Speaking of movies, I've never actually
At least 2000, I think, was supposed to be a sequel. This one's
Right.
a cartoon.
Yeah, the Tom Holland, Devil All the Time. This is one I watched on my own. It's a Netflix. Is it a Netflix original movie?
I believe so.
It is not a superhero nothing type movie. Well, it's not a superhero movie. It is one of the most bleak movies I've seen in a long time. I enjoyed it. I liked it. I also gave this 3.5 stars, like Adam's Family Values, so it's just as good as that. No,
Except it doesn't have a rap.
that's not how it doesn't have a rap. It is a drama, and it is. Although I would argue there's elements of revenge movie in there, but it's like basically there's a couple of good people in it and a whole bunch of like psychopaths and just crazy Southern Christians. It's really it's all about people that are way too Christian or like Christian in a crazy way, or people that are good people but they're gonna get screwed over by the crazy Christians, and it's all about that. Like I mentioned Christian specifically because it is all about that. If you're like, I don't know, overly sensitive to Christianity being portrayed a certain way, maybe don't watch it. And it doesn't say anything about the religion itself. It's just about people, and some people are evil essentially. I liked it. It's not amazing. It kept my interest, but it is a little slow at times. Tom Holland's okay in it, but he plays it very kind of solemn and a little over the top with with his southern accent and just the way he holds his mouth and whatever. It's kind of a typical portrayal of that type character. It also has sparkly vampire Batman in it, and I don't know. I can't tell if he's a good actor or not. I don't know. I don't understand what he's doing. The voice he uses in this movie is super like stereotypical, but also weird. I'm just reading comments. I'll leave that one for the comment section. Because we just watched him in The Lighthouse a few weeks ago, in which I was also like, what's he doing with his voice? It's all over the place. Sometimes he sounds like he's doing this accent. Sometimes he's doing another. And in this movie, in my opinion, his accent is ridiculous. He's not a big part in it. Who am I talking about? What's his name? Oh, what is his name?
His real name?
The guy that I'm talking about, yeah.
Robert Pattinson?
Robert Pattinson, thank you. It had slipped my mind. But anyway, if you're down for a drama or something like that, it goes exactly where you think it's going to go consistently, but it's not disappointing about it. Whoa, crazy glitch, Jesse, for a moment.
Yeah, and it got really dark in your room. It's like I'm worried something's coming to sacrifice you or something.
It's because we started talking about crazy Christians and stuff. He had to get out of there.
That's what will happen.
No, it's really it's so interesting because it's rare that, and maybe I'm totally missing the point, but because again, it's not about the religion, it's about the people. But it's so rare to like come watch a thing where it's like this movie has a chip on its shoulder for Christians that like are not good Christians, and not like who distort what a religion should be. It's got a big chip on its shoulder. Anyway.
Ooh, was it Saved with Mandy Moore? That's a good one. But that's a totally different vibe. It's like a Christian camp gone wrong.
Oh, double feature. We'll double feature it up.
Oh,
GCU that
GCU.
one.
Here we go.
I liked it though. I think it's interesting. Watch a trailer. If the trailer totally puts you off, don't watch it because it's pretty much that tone, the whole movie. Okay, we got to blow through these next ones.
Yep.
Atomic Blonde, Melanie and I watched, which came out in 2017, based on a comic book series, I believe. Which, although it's not called Atomic Blonde, and I don't remember who wrote it offhand. But it's basically like, it's an action. It's like sexy stylized, like 80s stylized action spy thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like a faux anime movie.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
kinda, yeah. Starring Charlize Theron and James McAvoy,
Mm-hmm.
and like they're undercover spies. Though I don't think. I mean, really, when you watch it, none of the undercover spies are good at being undercover. In
Everybody
my
always knows
opinion.
what they're doing. Like
Right.
we discussed this, like a character goes over to another person's house and they spend the night and then whatever and they leave and then immediately like people from like three different sides are like, oh, what were you doing with that person?
It's
Like,
like you're spy. How do those people even know what you were doing?
yeah.
I guess 2017. I guess that's within the. There needs to be a good name for the John Goodman Renaissance because McConaughey had the McConaissance or whatever.
How about the good years, the good years?
I mean,
The Goodman years.
I feel like the Goodman years are behind him, but that was mean, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's gonna debate that though. He's fine. He's fine.
He's done great things.
He
Mm-hmm.
looked good in this movie. Some movies he looks less good. Based on a 2012 graphic novel, The Coldest City.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's set during the week or so, maybe a couple weeks, where the Berlin Wall fell down, which I found kind of interesting because it's a little piece of history that we lived through. But also, the lead character's a female, strong female lead, and she's one of my girl crushes, so I obviously like it a lot. And yeah, fun spy movie. That's my opinion of it.
Yeah, Savannah says Atomic Blonde had so much Bowie music. It was so good. It did have a lot of. Yeah, you're right. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I give it 3.5, which was my going rate apparently this last week. I thought it was entertaining. It's not amazing, and there are some things that are just like what. I mean, just characters that don't even make sense, but totally entertaining. It's a fun popcorn watch, in my opinion.
Great fight
Kind of,
scenes.
yeah, fantastic fight scenes. Kind of underrated, I'd say, because I don't think it was very well received.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I enjoyed it. It's a good strong woman movie. You know what else is a good strong woman movie?
No, tell me.
A Promising Young Woman that I made Randy watch.
Yes, I remember you
Oh.
talking about this before. She did make me watch it. Actually, we did a double feature of Atomic Blonde and Promising Young Woman.
Mm-hmm.
Promising Young Woman does what the Black Christmas recent remake wanted to do, except it actually does it, and it does it good. Yeah, Promising Young Woman, I give this one 4 stars, was fantastic. And I mentioned the Black Christmas movie because these are like the perfect example of how to do the like women. I don't know what's the term of victimization, but basically women affected by college date rape. How you do it good and how you fail at it. And Black Christmas is how you fail at it, in my opinion. And Promising Young Woman is how you do it good. Even though, like, because Black Christmas, I was like, yo, it's all about it, and that's like drives the entire character. And in this movie, it's like, well, the movie is all about this, and it does drive the whole character, but it's a good movie. The characters are interesting, and it's not wildly unrealistic, even though there are elements where it's like just how things play out. But I don't know. Yeah, it was really good. It was interesting. Melanie, what would you? I mean, I guess drama thriller. I don't even know for sure what you'd call it. Romantic comedy at times.
Yeah.
Which made me real nervous. As soon as I was like, oh, they're doing a meet cute. This is not going to go well.
Yeah.
Like there's some humor. There's a lot of humor in it still. That's pretty good, I thought.
Dark, most of it, but still.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It's good. I think this is a movie that generally has been received well. I've heard good things.
So out of a million faces, did it rock them all?
No. Brady said I couldn't show it to my 7-year-old niece.
Oh, well, I get why you wanted to show it to your 7-year-old niece, but I was like, give her a couple more years, man. She doesn't.
Okay.
Okay, so it's not gory. It's not even like visually explicit. It's just the themes
Mm-hmm.
are real heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I'm not a parent. I'll say it. I don't have children, so I don't know. Maybe it is appropriate for a 7-year-old girl, but from what I've observed of your niece, give her a couple years. I don't think she really needs to worry about. Not that she doesn't need to worry, but she doesn't. That's something that I don't think exists in her world yet.
Well,
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. In that context, maybe it doesn't exist. But I'm just going to say, and I'm sure it's maybe true with boys these days even too, but nowadays, it doesn't matter how young you are, the fear or the fear of the threat that is out there for everybody is, you know, that right away. Like they're like across the street because I don't want somebody to come snatch me up and, you know, whatever. Or at least here, that's how it is.
I mean, I'm not saying the threat doesn't exist for her or that she shouldn't be aware that there is a threat, but I feel like maybe specifics as portrayed in this movie are not necessarily ideas she needs to be that concerned with this year. I don't know.
I know, and I have issues, you know, knowing what's appropriate. Like has been pointed out in previous episodes, I watched Hellraiser and showed it to the younger children when I was a small child myself. So,
I mean, Hellraiser. That is one of the threats that children should be aware of. Is Hellraiser just in general? Matt asked, "Did we watch the double feature on International Women's Day?" No.
No.
The weekend before.
We were too busy eating Burger King that day.
Because Burger King knows what to tell women on International Women's Day.
Yeah, clearly.
God. Wow. How? In case you don't know what we're talking about, Burger King UK specifically, their marketing, like they had a marketing campaign for International Women's Day. Women belong in the kitchen, and I'm like, oh no. How did this get past somebody going, oh no, but really, what are we doing?
So many people see these either so many people see these things before they go live, or and this is a horrible oversight, there's one person in control of the Twitter and they don't have to think.
It wasn't even just Twitter though.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
It was a full marketing campaign. They ran full page ads in magazines and newspapers and had flyers they were giving out in big letters, women belong in the kitchen. And then a bunch of small print about how what they're talking about is these $25,000 worth of scholarships they're giving to women to like progress their careers as fast food cooks. Like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Fox News thinks that Dr. Seuss is being canceled. This is like a Perfect Storm follow-up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
They think it's not really happening. Anyone that's paying attention knows it's not actually happening, but they think it's happening. Just for clarity's sake here.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a perfect storm because they can say, oh, well, we're in a culture where you have to say that we have to include everyone. But then if you say we're going to include everyone, you're canceled.
Yeah.
Perfect storm. That's how they'll spin it. Mark my words.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if they have. I don't know how they reported on it.
I haven't heard about it yet, but I'm sure it's coming. I'm sure.
Yeah.
They're on it right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, our 2-minute reviews only took an hour.
Oh.
So. Also, I've been watching.
Yeah, and I
Atlanta.
took 15 minutes with my nonsense. So.
Dude, there were too many. Bill and Ted, Spider-Man, just Willy's Wonderland, just those alone. There's no way we were getting through all this.
Yeah.
20 minutes. Atlanta. I want to throw that out one more time. I don't have much to say, but it's a Hulu series, or it's a series on Hulu. I don't know if it's made for Hulu. It might be FX or something. I don't know. But it's
Donald Glover.
Donald Glover's show. He's on it. One of the writers. He produces it. It's been out for several years. 2016, I think, is when it started. And I'd always heard good things, and I love that guy. I'm a huge fan. Everything he does is amazing, and I stand by that because I'm only in the first season, but I'm really enjoying Atlanta. It's good drama, comedy, social commentary. It's fantastic. I like it, and I recommend it.
If they did a movie with him where he was like, I went to a crossroads in Georgia and sold my soul to become the best at everything, I'd be like, yeah, I totally believe it. Because he is. Everything he touches is great.
And, I, like a lot of people probably, was introduced to him through Community because he played Troy. And he's great in that. And I was upset when he left. But I was thinking about it while watching Atlanta, and I'm like, you know what? He probably left Community to focus on his music, which is great, and to do this show, which is great. I think he probably actually made a really wise decision. Community was great and all, but man, just...
And he was in Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. Is he going to have a bigger role in the future? Or at least, that sounded like a character. I think I heard at some point a character that they could expand, but I don't know what his character was.
It ties him into the Miles Morales stuff. That's why everybody was like, what?
Right. Mm-hmm. And I remember at one point, he or somebody on Twitter was petitioning for him to be Spider-Man. But I feel like, I don't know, I feel like he's maybe a little too old for it now. I guess not. He doesn't look that old, but he's not quite as young looking as he was at that time.
Mm-hmm. Paul says the crossroads is in Mississippi. Thank you. And sorry about that. Mississippi, not Georgia. I was thinking of the song, the devil went down to. Never mind. Okay.
They got too many S's and P's, and they're all about I's in their name. Okay. They got enough.
Yeah. So that's all the stuff we watched.
What'd you guys watch?
Except for one big thing that we all watched, that everyone collectively watched because she willed it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like everyone did watch this.
I don't think Savannah
everyone
did.
On Earth. No, Savannah didn't. Okay, not everyone did. I know. But the people that make or comment on things on the internet that I follow, they all watched it, so it felt like everyone on Earth watched it. And they all had theories. Most of them were wrong.
So many theories.
Yeah. Okay, so WandaVision. Let's get into that. It's over. Paul says it was Agatha all along. Again, it kind of wasn't though.
He said, "Was it?"
Oh, was it? Matt asks, "Was it Wanda full?" It was full of Wanda. What'd you guys think now that the season's over? We can get into more specifics after.
I loved 95% of it.
Okay, I would
have some legitimate beefs with 5% of it, but 95% of it I really enjoyed.
I enjoyed it mostly. There are some things that I didn't enjoy. Most of them were with the real world outside of Wonderland, though. So I don't know if that counts because I don't like the real world,
I mean, it should have been a pretty stark, it should have been really obvious. So I think it's fair.
I agree. I didn't hate the outside of the hex, whatever. The MCU shield sword agent stuff. But that is my least favorite stuff in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is anytime it's like agents doing stuff, I'm like, okay, great. Now it's not a unique thing. Now it's like a bunch of other shows. Like, okay, fine, let's just watch some agents in suits talk about some stuff. Not that it's not that it wasn't, not that I didn't feel it was bad in this, but that is, yeah. I mean, I was not super thrilled with that stuff just because that's, listen, That's not the part of the MCU I'm particularly interested in.
Right.
Jimmy Woo is the new Agent Coulson.
Mhm.
He may be better than Agent Coulson.
I
don't know.
kind of
I
do
don't
like
know.
him more than I previously did because
Yeah.
of this series, though.
Mhm.
I mean, the one scene, I think it was the episode before last, maybe, or a couple of episodes before, where they're getting escorted out of the base initially. You know, they're like, you know, all right, you got take them out of here, whatever, relieved of their duties, and he attacks. He like they break out, but like he turns and attacks unprompted from. And I don't know, and that was just surprising to me because I would have assumed he'd have been like, oh, okay, now we're escaping. But no, he was just as on it as I can't remember her name, but as the one lady was, Rambo.
Oh, yeah, Monica.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, I keep calling her Rambo too. Can I just say real quick? Paul says that he got goosebumps when she I'm assuming he means the Scarlet Witch suited up, and Maddie D said he did also. And I'm just saying, you guys, not you guys specifically, but men seem to be very emotional about this. Kevin Smith was crying. Like people have had lots of feelings, and I'm like, wow, people like are very emotional about this show.
I mean, she did that on Halloween episode, so I don't know.
Well, okay, so I mean, I don't think Kevin Smith. Maybe he did. He cries at everything.
He cries at everything he drops,
and he
cries at
I
the
don't
drop of a hat. Now, I'm not diminishing his emotions. He can have his emotions.
No, I don't think he would
But-
disagree with that. I think I've heard him talk about that.
Yeah.
But I envision the part that he cried at was probably through the whole end bit with just the
yeah.
end of the
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
which is sad. Yeah, I was not invested in
Plus,
this
he's got
any
kids or kid.
Right. But yeah, I mean, the suiting up it was okay, I guess. It's like when she's the episode before, maybe, I don't know, when Agatha's like, "You're the Scarlet Witch," or whatever, and everybody was like losing their minds because and I get it. Like I was like, oh, okay, well they finally said it. Like they even drew attention to the fact earlier in the series that she doesn't have any other nicknames or any other whatevers.
Mm-hmm.
And so they finally named her Scarlet Witch. But I mean, I didn't lose my mind over it. It felt like a very, you're the full metal alchemist like moment to me. So
Mm-hmm. I wish they would have done more with Ralph Boner than just have him be the
That's
That's
my
neighbor.
part of the 5%.
that's my biggest disappointment. Ralph Boner is definitely my biggest disappointment in this series. What a wasted
Such a
opportunity.
missed opportunities. Just like a rookie mistake, missed opportunity.
Mhm.
I get that they were like nodding back to all the Ralph says. I mean, like, I
Mhm.
get that, but like, no.
Right.
Drop the ball, Marvel.
Mhm.
And I guess it's like a cake and eat it too thing, right? Where it's like we're gonna tease this, and everyone knows we have the mutants are back in you know the Marvel's hands and Disney's hands
Right.
now, and then still just not do anything with it. Like just the fact that it feels wasted because they did this. They had this opportunity. It seemed like such a interesting and clever way to at least in some way tie that in, even if they never ran with it, even if they introduced mutants in some other way unconnected. They're obviously setting up multiverse stuff coming into this next Doctor Strange movie and Spider-Man.
Right.
Why not at least, I don't know, play with it a little bit.
I'm like half a second away from putting a unicorn hat on my head. Like legit. There's some concerning plot holes, like some leaps of logic, ridiculousness that they didn't think about. They've
Let's
got
hear-
Agatha, who's
let's
got
hear it.
all this power.
Mhm.
Power enough to make Ralph a speedster.
Mhm.
She can't make him look like her real brother.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
She's an all-powerful witch from the original Salem witch trials.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I can forgive a lot, but like, what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally get that. I mean, if you can like suck the souls out of like 7 people, you'd think maybe you could just do a little face change. It's not. It doesn't. I mean, Vision does it every day, right? Oh, that's another thing that this is something from the comics, but I thought it was a little. It was a little strange to me to be like White Vision, and it just doesn't sit well on my tongue to say that White Vision.
What? You got a problem with white vision versus colored vision?
He has a lot of white power. But too much?
Some would say
Yeah.
white vision doesn't have a soul, though.
Yeah.
Only
Well,
that colored vision has soul.
oh man. So
I didn't invent it, man.
so yeah. I mean, and I know, like I said, that I know that was actually from the comics, but maybe they could have. I mean, they changed other things. Why not make him beige? I don't know.
Right.
I did like that. Make him beige, yeah. I did like that he dealt with him in the way that they always deal with purely robot, like, you know, with androids that are purely logical. You throw them in a bit of a logic loop, and you're like, oh, you were supposed to like eliminate the real Vision. Who's the real Vision here? And he's like, but I mean, you know, so
Yeah,
I enjoyed that.
Elaborate.
He logicked his
He
way
went
out
full
of it.
Dalek on that. He was like, explain.
He did.
Oh, Matt, he says he was clearly eggshell, not white.
Oh, yeah. That reminds me of the eggshell garbage.
The
Sorry.
eggshell garbage?
Yeah, to get around censors, because some things are not appropriate to post any longer.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking about, but that
That's
sounds
fine.
okay.
So I feel like I need to jump back to the last episode where you guys hadn't seen the 2 episodes, right? And so we got the White Vision reveal at the end of that, and they have like this artifact, and they're like powering up the Vision, and they're like, all it took was a little bit of energy from the original source. And I was like, what are you doing? What is this original source? Because there was 2 original sources that created the Vision. One was Jarvis. So if it's Jarvis, fine. The other one was Ultron.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well. Oh yeah. Like why? Why did they think?
Why would you put Ultron in anything?
Why would they think that's a good idea? Well, I mean,
The thing
I
they
feel-
used though wasn't the thing they used was the drone that they sent in.
it was in this case, I think he is referring to the power of the Mind Stone, which they got from the drone because Wanda attacked the drone, and so apparently some of her residual Mind Stone power was on this drone. Seems like a weird way to like siphon. I don't know.
Also, that's a little worrisome too, because if just sucking a little bit of Wanda power off of a drone can restart a Vision, then you know what could like an entire dome worth of Wanda power do if they were able to find some way to harness it.
They kind of did in that whole moment where the Vision and the Vision met.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, I guess to that end, like, I feel like the Vision the actual build technology is probably still beyond them. You know,
Yeah,
it's a case where it's like, well, we have the remnants of this weapon that we can at least put back together and then power it, but I don't know that means they can start manufacturing their own Visions.
also, it makes me wonder, like, how much did Tony look into the Vision after the Vision was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I like Vision as a character, and I like how he's played by Paul Bettany.
Bettany or Bettany. I've heard it both.
That second Avengers movie sucks, in my opinion. It's not great.
Right.
And Vision's inclusion in the cinematic universe just came about in such a ham-fisted, lazy way that it's still like that still bugs me, even though I like the character and they've done some interesting things with him. I mean, it's, they're kind of following stuff from comics, which is appropriate, but they've done interesting things with him. But his inclusion in the first place was not great. I'm glad I enjoyed WandaVision. I did enjoy the series because their whole everything came out of that second Marvel movie, and I didn't like it because it was obviously, these are properties we're going to use in the future. We have to introduce them here. And you got Joss like, huh. And then the studio's like, you got to put them in there. And he's like, well, we're going to a cabin for 20 minutes then. Anyway. So at least, whatever. I didn't care that much for that movie, but I did enjoy this series. So at least interesting things have come from that. Mm-hmm. That's a total aside. I'm sorry. Okay. Maddie D. Does Eggshell Vision, like that he's running with that, have the memories of the Vision within the Hex? Or did he only get the memories of the original Vision up to the Mind Stone being ripped out? Oh, interesting. Because it definitely played like, imagine, we'll call him WandaVision. Wanda's Vision unlocked the memories and was able to access them himself, I think. But it did also imply that it unlocked the memories for Eggshell Vision.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because the data was there, but he doesn't have the memories. It was the line.
And then he got his memories and flew away. But
yeah, because they're halfway there.
What Maddie D's then asking is, then did Eggshell Vision also receive the memories of the WandaVision?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that he did or not. I don't know.
I wouldn't think so.
I'm assuming not.
Yeah, it seemed like they were just like restoring old, software information or something. I don't know. Whatever.
Recovering files.
Yeah. So in which case it wouldn't. But that was one of the problems I had with it. Like if you were Eggshell Vision and you suddenly got your memory back and you remembered this woman that you loved that watched you die horribly, in some pretty heartbreaking ways, why would you just fly off? You'd just be like, oh, okay, bye, see you later, peace out. No,
yeah,
you'd want to be like, yeah.
I feel like Wanda's Vision gave him emotions and he didn't know how to handle it. So he was a little boy and he ran away.
Yeah, I was just like, sense. Well, he's got to find himself now. I find it though kind of crap. I find it maybe Wanda does know, but I find it kind of crappy that Wanda's Vision never told Wanda this. Like that whole moment, they were having the moment at the end, and I kept expecting him to be like, "By the way, the real Vision's back. He flew off.
Right.
He's back." He didn't say nothing.
Nope. Just went down in a blaze of glory.
No, I ain't gonna set her up with her ex-boyfriend. I woke him up, but
yeah, and. Are we spoiling things, or are we just trying not to?
Oh, yeah, we're in spoilers the whole time, I think.
Okay. I kind of dislike that they play in the end of the second to the last episode. They play on her being really emotionally attached or whatever to the twins. And then at the end of this, if she really felt like they were children, if she were really attached to them, she would just be like, okay, guys, good night. I'm going to go spend the next, 20 minutes with your dad. I don't feel like it would have gone down like that. But since they were only creations that had been around for like a week tops, it didn't have that kind of emotional impact. But then it wouldn't have had that emotional impact the entire time. You know what I mean?
It's her life. It's now or never.
Yeah.
We're not gonna live forever in Wanda.
Maddie D
Mhm.
says, I was hoping on a wing and a prayer that Eggshell Vision would have everything, but I guess he doesn't. Maybe that's a bad thing. And Paul said, quote, maybe we'll meet again.
Mm.
I also like that people, Paul Bettany, I think it is Bettany. At least that's how I hear people pronounce it. He kind of trolled people, but I feel people more trolled themselves.
Mhm.
Like when supposedly, what's her name? Names, man, actors' names are gone to me today. Wanda had told,
Mhm.
supposedly said
Elizabeth
that
Olsen.
Elizabeth Olsen, thank you, had said that, you know, there was a cameo as big as the Mandalorian reveal.
Mhm.
But it turned out she didn't really say that. She was asked that, and she's like, yeah, okay, I suppose so. Anyway, so people were trolled thinking there was going to be a huge a huge cameo in this final episode.
Oh,
There's
right.
going to be some actor that shows up because Paul Bettany, I think he was asked, and he's like, there is somebody I've always wanted to act with, somebody great that I've always wanted to act with in that last episode. He was talking about himself since there's two hymns.
Oh, well played.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but of course, you know, headlines, big actor in the final episode.
Oh yeah, they grab onto that, run with
man.
it. Headline, boom.
I remember when that first happened. Somebody else commenting, they're like, MCU doesn't have anybody as big as Mark Hamill, so I don't know what they're talking about.
That's right. I mean, the closest it's even that is still different. Like their big superstar type character is Tony Stark is, you know, so it'd
Yeah.
be, and since they killed him off, I guess that would be a big deal. Plus, but I don't think WandaVision series has Robert Downey Jr. money.
No.
They didn't have Lawrence. Wait, no, was there Lawrence Fishburne? I was gonna say I don't think they didn't, or not Lawrence Fishburne. I hate that I did that. Samuel L. Jackson money.
Mhm.
No, they just referenced him. They didn't even.
Right.
They didn't even have him. They're just like a friend of your mother's.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So
Monica
post-credits-
Rambeau. So that was awesome. Like she's got her powers. I called it. I knew that's how it was going to work out. Now, what do we call her? Because we can't call her Captain Marvel.
Star Trek girl, because her outfit looked like a Star Trek.
No kidding.
uniform.
It did. It bothered me so
yeah.
much. Yeah. I just call her Rambo. I think that's perfect.
I think maybe I did get spoiled that there was some. Is it Skrull? Martin Shkreli aliens?
Scrolls. Okay.
Skrulls.
I didn't know that scrolls were going to show up, but like
I think I heard.
anytime that Sword is involved now, I just guess that there's going to be a scroll because
Yeah.
they basically threw that out there. I don't know. Was it Sword the last time we saw Nick Fury? Or did they just kind of go, we're Sword now?
As far as I know, and I did not watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that seems like where that might have, if they were going to introduce that, it
So
might have
they
been there.
really have not tied Shield and like that show Shield to Shield in a long time. Like they kind of gave up a long time ago.
This series is the first mention I've heard of Sword in the MCU. So
I know they've like hinted at it because the space station with Nick Fury on it did that happen at the end of Far From Home?
Yeah, that was that. Yeah, that was that Spider-Man that we just watched.
Okay, so they were up there, but they never called it Sword yet that I'm aware of.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess this is the first time I feel like they called it Sword.
Maddie D says 80s afro with black and white costume. So is that like her traditional costume? Is that why? It just looks very Star Trek.
Her costume is very much like that. I think she might even have like a visor in the comics. But yeah, that is what her costume looks like.
I dig her character though. I mean, I don't know why we haven't really been given that much other than she's very confident, but I like her character. I'm sorry.
Oh, you guys haven't seen Captain Marvel, have you?
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
no,
you
we've
have.
seen it.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, she's the girl, the young girl,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, it took me a little while into this series before I was like, "Oh, wait. Okay." So that's cool.
Wait, the young girl or the like?
She's the daughter of Captain Marvel's friend or whatever that she hangs out with.
Okay, yeah. No, I get it.
Um, so what about the final scene? Because as Paul said, that final credit scene though, what's going on there?
I don't remember. Remind
They
me.
didn't give it. I mean, like they gave us a little bit, but they didn't give us a lot. Like they gave us enough to tease. So basically, you've got like it's kind of confusing. You've got Wanda. She's supposedly like hanging out at this like mountain cabin thing. You can speculate that this is Wundagore or wherever. You know, I mean, like you can come up with different ideas of where this is. Maybe it's Sokovia. I don't know. Um,
Mhm.
so you've got that, but then it becomes very clear that she is now capable of being both on the material plane and the astral plane, which would imply powers stronger than Doctor Strange, because Doctor Strange can't do that. Or she can at least project an illusion of herself in the prime plane while she's actually in the astral plane, reading the Darkhold, which is a bad idea, and then clearly looking for ways to bring her kids back because we hear their voices.
Right, which was weird.
Yeah, I agree.
And also diminishes. It's not the same, but it's like, the tease that Superman's going to come back after killing him in Batman v Superman,
Right.
which it's not the same because we knew it's Superman, right? But it's like, man, don't lessen the blow 5 minutes after you just made the blow in the movie. Like if you're gonna, I guess they just want to tease it, but anyway.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't. Yeah, whatever. I don't want to poo-poo on
Okay.
I don't want to poo-poo on her emotions, but it feels very like Romeo and Juliet to me. Like I've known you for 2 days, and I'm gonna go all extreme about it. But why? It doesn't have the weight to it that it should.
Well,
But that's just me. And her kids were kind of boring, to be honest. Sorry.
I mean,
you could do
her
better.
kids are likely to come back one way or the other because they are in the comics as Wiccan and
I know.
I always forget the other one. I always forget the other ones. I don't.
Yeah. No, I know. We looked it up, and
that's a fair question, Paul.
Yeah.
And for audio listeners, Paul said her kids or a multiverse equivalent.
Mm-hmm.
And are you referring to this comment, Melanie?
What? I wasn't.
You mentioned Matt. Doesn't matter. Okay.
On a steel horse he rides?
Matt.
He's a cowboy.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, Matt.
And he's wanted.
Same reason they brought in Ghost Rider not riding on a steel horse, but a muscle car. Silver streak. Okay. I forgot what I was going to say. You guys should think of a couple more things to say about maybe WandaVision, because I need to run to the restroom real quick, and then we can get to our final segment, or our final 2 segments. Or Melanie can do what are you amazed by, or you should be amazed.
Okay.
I gotta go pee, okay, and I'm gonna go do it now. You guys figure it out the rest. All right. I'm leaving this in for audio listeners too. You get to know about my bladder.
All right.
All right. So while he's dealing with that, we didn't really say how we felt about the show as a whole, did we?
Oh, probably not. Well, except like 98% or something like that.
Right.
So I'm guessing you liked it.
I did like it overall because not because of necessarily the stuff they were pulling from, but I liked how they integrated that stuff with the Tom King Vision run, where it was basically like Vision and his whole family of Vision robots or synthoids or whatever they're really called in the Marvel U. like that whole vibe, like because that goes horribly wrong too, and they kind of mashed it up into this kind of perfect storm of awesomeness. I
Mhm.
love how it played with everybody's expectations. Everybody's like, it's the devil, it's Mephisto, we're gonna get House of M, we're gonna get, like, everybody was speculating wildly, and
Mhm.
everyone was excited about it. Like, I think that was pretty cleverly done. uh Unfortunately, when you build up that much expectation, there's going to be some letdown at the end
Yeah.
when almost none of those things happen.
Right. Well, from my perspective, because I'm not, I'm the least comic booky of the three of us. I really, I know a little bit, but there's a lot of stuff that theories that I heard also, but I'm like, I have no clue what you guys are talking about because I haven't read any of that. So
Right.
I didn't have those kind of expectations, going into it. So, all of it was kind of new and fun for the most part, but I'm sure there's tons of stuff that I missed. And actually, I forget who I was watching with somebody else, and they were like, "I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch this again, and maybe again because I know I'm missing tons of stuff." And I'm like, "No, yeah, I know exactly what you mean." It's like you got to sit down after every episode and be like, "Okay, what was in it that I didn't get?"
Right.
So I mean, it's kind of fun if you care enough to actually look it up. I suppose that is. But I thought it was kind of fun. But so I didn't have any expectations, like I was saying though, going in, and I enjoyed it all. I thought it was a fun idea, and it was done pretty well. The main disappointment for me, really, I think, was Agatha, because
Hmm.
that's something that I heard everybody talking about for a long time, and so I was like, oh, okay, well, she's somebody. It's going to be a thing, and they, even at the end of the episode when they had introduced her, it seemed all exciting. But the next episode, I was like, yeah, no, she's not. I mean, she's there, but
Right.
she doesn't really seem to have much bearing on it, even though she did a little bit here or a little bit there. She wasn't as big of a part of it as I expected her to be from all the hype that people who knew who she were giving it. You know what I mean? What I'm
Sure.
saying?
Sure.
It wasn't Agatha all along.
No.
She had nothing to do with it other than she like sensed it was going on and then strolled in trying to figure out how she can siphon this power for herself.
Yeah, and I kind of wish I could see that. That would have been fun. I mean, she is a great actress. She's a fun character and everything that I've seen her in, and she's good at being an interesting bad character. So I was all down for her having a bigger part, but yeah, whatever.
Well, since Matt seems concerned, by the way, he says, "Man, that's a long pee. Should Randall maybe see a doctor or drink some cranberry juice?" Listen, I've been holding it for a little while. That's why I was like, okay, I have to go now. And then I sat down. I took a listen to what Melanie and Jesse were saying for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
He was choosing his opportunity to return.
Right.
Paul had a good comment here because it really is Marvel's first real entry into the TV universe.
Right.
It sets the stage very well for the rest of the upcoming shows, and I'm glad that they're playing with this format, because I feel like TV has been kind of outperforming movies for a while now,
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
and this is just proof, baby. I mean, like if the MCU is doing it, move over.
Well, the movies are just super expensive episodes of an ongoing series at this point anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And that's at least this way. Sure, we're not necessarily going to get the super huge scale effects sequences that we might get in some of the movies, although arguably there was some pretty good stuff in this. There was a lot of effects in the show. I'm sure it looked like they poured a lot of money into it. But at least we won't have to wait for years between episodes.
Right.
When Spider-Man 3 got over, I was like, oh man, when's the next one coming out? Oh man. And we had waited how long? When did Spider-Man? We had waited like 2-3 years before we even watched that movie in the first place. So
Right.
yeah, I don't hate it. Falcon and Winter Soldier or whatever.
Mm-mm.
Not super appealing to me. I mean, I'm sure it might be fine. The writing sounds typical Marvel humorous character banter.
I'm gonna watch it. I'll probably like it too, because if it feels like it's pulling off of things that they set up in Winter Soldier, which was a surprisingly excellent movie. If it's pulls on any of that, I'm in. Plus, it feels like it's going to expand the Baron Zemo thing, which if I had a problem with Civil War, it's that Baron Zemo was just so totally a normal dude that I would like to see him get a little more development.
What show that I'm looking forward to that totally surprised me with its trailer was Loki. Have you seen the trailer for that?
The trailer for that is crazy. Yeah.
I was like, wait, what is this show? It's not, I don't know what I expected from a Loki series. It definitely wasn't that. It looks wild. It looks like it's, I don't know, it's all over the place, but it looks super intriguing.
It looks mischievous. Oh.
Yeah, I guess so. But like also there's like, it almost looked like there's like future weird world moments and just strange, I don't know, sci-fi. And then I made the mistake of watching, I think, that trailer, and then was like, well, what about that Falcon and Winter Soldier thing? And then I watched that trailer, and I was like, oh, okay, well, that doesn't look as good for sure.
So, like crazy, like the crazy conspiracies, or not even conspiracies, but just WandaVision theories. I really assumed that WandaVision was going to end in a way that would set up Loki because of that trailer. Where it's like, okay, things are just fractured, right? Well, and maybe that'll still happen. I don't know when Loki comes out. I don't know when Doctor Strange 2 comes out. And I don't know when Spider-Man comes out, because all these things are leaning towards this idea that the universe is multifaceted, right? Which is why the Evan Peters thing really bothers me still. Yeah. So I don't know. I just thought there was going to be some kind of break in reality. And maybe there is. Maybe there's a break in reality that just hasn't been explored yet. But it felt like everything was cleaned up too neatly at the end. Like all Wanda had to do is take the barrier down and the universe is fine.
People are hate her, but that's fine. Well, this one town hates her, but otherwise it's fine.
Except Monica, because she would have done it too.
Can I, real quick, just you mentioned conspiracy theories, and it made it pop into my head. I was sitting there watching it, and maybe it's because of things that I look into, and maybe it's some of the people that I hang out with, but I was like, oh, are they gonna do some weird sacred geometry thing? Because they were like the hexes and then the circles and then the whatever. I'm like, oh, it's like each branch of magic its own shape now or something. And I don't know, maybe I was thinking maybe it had something to do with that, or multiverses, and their vibrations, and vibrations make shapes and whatever. I was thinking they were going somewhere weird with it, but they actually didn't, or maybe they will later. I don't know. But
yeah, their visuals were on point though. Like they were really good at like hiding stuff like that in there, where they're like, everything's a hexagon because it's a hex, stupid.
Yeah.
That and I think some of that is stuff, and this is stuff that I didn't have knowledge of, but I've seen people talking about it in YouTube videos and stuff about. And they pulled a lot of this from the comics, is like, of course, it's a hex, but the hex shape is definitely seems to be tied to their like witchy magic. And then we look at Doctor Strange, and it's a lot of like circles and triangles and stuff. Like it's all kinds of crazy shapes. But the hex thing, and if it's like the hex, put a hex on like, or space travel sometimes, or portals in space. There's a lot of
I had heard that, like the wormhole or fast track or whatever that the Guardians of the Galaxy uses is the same shape.
Right. And
I
think there might even be some hex stuff in Thor Ragnarok too, I think. But yeah, I don't know, that consistency is really interesting to me. Like they definitely have, like, I'm sure they have MCU Bibles that they've got certain things established. It's like, okay, if we're going to do this, you got to incorporate this shape or this whatever. Like there's interesting guidelines that are very consistent, and that's impressive, even if it means the directors don't need to be there.
But they already don't need to be there. We know that.
We were watching a YouTube video the other day about how it was about pre-visualization, previs, like animations and stuff, which is not new to movies at all. But apparently some of the Marvel movies are so pre-visualized out that they have like their, the rough, janky animated version of the movie like 3 years before the movie's completed. Like before they even have directors signed on, they have the majority of the movie plotted out. I'm like, and some directors have turned them down because who was it? I don't remember.
Like Edgar Wright, who's like, wait a minute, this is just Iron Man with a funnier guy.
I bet it does play into that.
Yeah, but it was crazy too, because it's not just like, oh, here's an animation. It's like, here's the animation that plots out where the camera placement would be, and the angles that we would hit, and the
lenses that we need to use.
Yeah, literally, like all of it is planned out, which is, yeah. At that point, why do you even need a director? Almost.
It makes sense with as visually as effects heavy. I mean, where the suits are CGI, the backgrounds, even if they're just in a city, are probably CGI. It makes sense to have it plotted out. The part that really blew my mind is that they've got it plotted out before they even have the creative team on board, really. So it's like, well, it's the storyboard artists and the previs artists that are directing this thing.
They should get bigger credits then.
I can't remember. Well, and then they just bring on directors for the name, really.
Right.
I can't remember who it was, but somebody had turned it down. They had been offered. It was a female director. Again, they like to pull in like directors, like indie directors that have some buzz on their name, because it's like, that sounds like a quality director. Let's bring this person in. Mm-hmm. But then they'll get them and they'll be like, okay, here's the movie. Don't worry about the action scenes. And they'll be like, what? And they're like, you don't have to do it. Don't think about it. It's done. We're going to do it ourselves. And in some of these movies, that's like a big portion of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's like doing an episode of the Power Rangers at that point, because it's like, look, we basically want you to do the parts where they're not in the suits. Like, why?
Yeah.
Because we bought that part from Japan.
Yeah. That's almost exactly what it would be, though, really. The parts where they're not in the suits. Because as soon as they suit up, man, action's happening, and they had that stuff plotted out 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fine as a workflow, whatever. They're making a product, but like, it's still weird then to be like, directed by this person. It's like, but was it? And that ties into just a few weeks ago, I was talking about a director who, I don't remember what. The lady that is going to be working on some sci-fi Dracula Western or something in the future. Where I went and looked up her filmography, and it was like all this like indie stuff, indie award-winning stuff, a very serious drama. You picture what I'm talking about. And then like the Eternals or something, like one big Marvel movie right in the middle. It's like, whoa, what happened there? That's totally what it is.
Mm-hmm. But
I mean, it just kind of sucks because, like, I guess it's good for them. They get a payday, one for one for the
and a
the
huge
studio
thing on the resume, yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But it's also like it's reducing really talented directors to just being a jobber, which sucks a little bit, but whatever.
Mm-hmm. But maybe it's the best of both worlds if they focus on good directors and then give them notoriety. Then they can hopefully go on to make something that is both good and higher budget. And then, also people will take the MCU seriously, or whichever, company it is that's doing it.
Or they get shot down in a blaze of glory.
What is this weird ongoing thing you guys got going on? Okay. Well, it's time. And we also, this reminds me, we need to think about, I guess we're just probably going to do an episode next week as normal, but we're going to have some competition next week if we're talking about streaming.
Mm-hmm.
What am I talking about? watch, of course.
Oh, you promised me heaven and you put me through hell.
Jeez. Speaking of Snyder Watch, did you guys know this time next week, you better be here listening to us. But if you're not, you better be watching Justice League Snyder Cut with Zack Snyder, because not the fun story, but the first story I'm going with, Zack Snyder to host Snyder Cut Justice League HBO Max fan screening. Paul says, hey, speaking of bad directors. Not Paul, Maddie D said that, sorry. It's 50-50 chance, right? I'm not mad. That wasn't a jab at them. I like it. We need more Pauls and more Matts chatting us up.
We really do.
And Savannah's. But
take my hand.
Listen,
we'll make it, I swear.
Okay, thank you. Moving on. So Snyder Cut is finally almost here, or it was here for a moment, but we'll get to that in a moment too. Next week, March 18th, Thursday. Paul said he just beat me to it. So, yeah.
Validation.
Justice League Snyder Watch, the Snyder Cut, whatever, will be out. And you can watch it with Zack Snyder if you want. So there's going to be a special watch party that'll kick off at 4 p.m., 7 p.m. Eastern time on March 18th. It's whatever. It's going to be on HBO Max, as everybody knows. But you can go to snydercut.scener.com and you can register to attend, which is at least I was like, hey, anybody can do this if you have an HBO Max account. And from what I think it sounds like is they're going to open up with like, Snyder's going to be, it's a stream, right? Snyder's going to be talking about it, whatever. They're going to introduce the movie, and then they'll stream the movie so everybody can watch it at the same time, broadcast live, while moderated chat goes on during the whole movie. You know, the way a movie should, if Zack Snyder's like, it needs to be in this aspect ratio in black and white, that's the proper way to watch a movie. Also, we're going to be chatting alongside the movie the entire time. That's the proper way to watch a movie.
On our freaking phone.
Right.
Yeah.
On Vero. No, that is his social media company, so whatever. He's always on Vero. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's there's going to be a chat going during the whole movie, and I'm assuming Zack Snyder will be in there chatting up and stuff. But that seems so weird to me to be like, yeah, come watch my movie, distracted by a chat room.
Yeah, because we all know how great things are when we're distracted by chat rooms, huh?
Right. I mean, I guess at least the movie's not going to stop and Batman's not going to start reading the chat.
Speaking of the chat, hey, so Paul says next Thursday is the day. Does it live up to the hype, or does it fall on his fall flat on his face? I've got one thing to say about that. And again, this is one of the last chances I'm going to say it, right? So I have to say it because after the fact it won't be preemptive anymore. It's going to suck.
Oh, man.
It's going to suck.
Yep. But I mean, it's gonna suck. So why not just spend the night with us instead?
We'll be there for you. Words, I swear to you.
I have a feeling it's gonna come out and nobody's going. When Thursday rolls around. When Thursday rolls around, the following Thursday, nobody's going to want to hear about it anymore.
No.
But we are going to talk about it. I wish we had time. We all had time to watch it before that stream and talk about it that night. But I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what you guys got going on that weekend. Maybe we'll do a special delayed episode
next
or something.
Thursday, I am on spring break.
Oh, really? Yeah. No, it's this next Thursday. So
so I got up really early because it's 4 hours long.
That's another thing. It's 4 hours long, man. Watching that, maybe I don't want to talk to anybody after that's over. I don't know.
Right.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe we'll watch it with a chat room full of people. Who knows?
Depends. Is it going to release like at midnight?
I'm not
Because if
sure.
it is, like I might still be up, and I might just watch it or
Ooh.
start it at least. I don't know.
That's the other thing. Like sitting through in one sitting, 4 hours might be tough.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you know, Zack Snyder, like if he just wouldn't put it in slow motion, it'd probably be an hour and a half long.
Like Paul says, it's going to be 4 hours of suck.
That's a good point. I fell asleep during Batman v Superman, and it was like 2.5 hours. It suck.
Paul,
Oh yeah, I said it again. It's been a while. In case you forgot, that one sucked too.
Yeah.
Paul says Discord watch party. Maybe the Snyder
Ooh.
Cut could just be the episode. We can't do like them. We can't stream the movie itself, but we can stream while the movie's playing
Right.
and just be us watch.
The worst part is though, like 4 hours of listening to us isn't much better.
No, not at all.
It is better for the record, but it's not much better.
Right.
Okay, well, whatever. Scener, by the way, Scener, which is like scene with an R at the end, Scener, as in SCENER.
Let's make it confusing.
I've never heard of this before, but apparently it's like the Netflix with your friends or whatever that plugin was called before they changed their names. What's it called now?
Oh, what's it called?
Teleparty.
It was Watch Party, and now it's like
It's
or
Teleparty.
it was Netflix Party. Now it's Teleparty.
This Scener sounds like a similar type thing, except not. But I mean, it's interesting that. So it's gonna be like that, right? It's gonna be where they'll do some live stream stuff, and then it'll be so long as you have an HBO Max account, it'll be a synchronized playback of the movie that everybody watches together and chats, which is not a terrible idea, but it's just funny to me that David Lynch would hate everything about all of this.
Right.
That's not the good story, though, honestly.
No, the best story is we're all late to the Teleparty.
Listen, the Snyder Cut exists. It's already been released.
It was
And you
never
missed it.
meant for us. It was never meant for us.
It was meant for children who were expecting to watch Tom and Jerry.
The true fans, the fans who really get the Snyder Cut, were waiting for the Tom and Jerry movie so they could really get it, ahead of the game.
So there's a new Tom and Jerry movie, and apparently some people who, when they logged into their HBO Max and was like, I'm going to watch the new Tom and Jerry movie, and they started streaming it, wouldn't you know, the Justice League exists, and that's what started playing instead.
Mm-hmm.
So it's on Max. It's ready. They're ready. They're a little too ready to release this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was some mix-up, and for some people, apparently, it started playing Justice League instead of Tom and Jerry, which is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the entire lifeline, the entire timeline and lifeline of the Snyder Cut has been a manufactured outrage. And they were like, you know what we haven't had enough of in a while? Manufactured outrage.
What if it leaked, but not really leaked? That'll get us some more press because we need more press. This thing they release a trailer of like, I don't understand the headlines.
The press they get is not even real press. They were like, guess what? It's still a movie. Guess what it's called? It's called The Snyder Cut. Guess what it's rated? It's rated R.
So we're gonna play it instead of a children's movie.
No.
Yeah.
Tom and Jerry. Yeah, they should be getting fined for this.
I think Paul is so on point with this. He says it's a conspiracy. They wanted to say the Snyder Cut existed before it was released.
Well, technically it was, I guess.
This Now they're not lying when they say it.
Yeah.
I got the impression that I don't know how many people this was for, like this happened to for, but wow, an hour of it though. I didn't think it was even that much. So,
See, I was gonna say, like, how far did they get in? I'm surprised we didn't get like leaked plot points. Oh wait, we've seen it already.
well, I was like, dude, if the whole movie played, somebody has ripped it and it's uploaded already.
Yeah.
No, apparently one of the people who was tweeting about it said that it got about an hour into it, and then the definition of the image began to degrade. And then there was an error message, and it was gone. So that sounds like they're like, pull the plug. What plug? They're like, just start pulling all the plugs.
It's the internet, sir. There are no plugs.
Is it working? Well,
isn't it just a series of tubes? No,
it's playing in like 240p now. Keep pulling that plug.
Pull that plug again.
Maddie D says, now I want to see the Tom and Jerry Snyder cut.
It's a lot more violent.
Oh, man.
So violent. They drop a piano on Martian Manhunter. It's really disturbing.
Some spokesperson for Warner Media said Zack Snyder's Justice League was temporarily available on HBO Max and the error was addressed within minutes. Okay. So I've also heard many things, like, I don't think that many people actually got to see this. Somebody who had said, I planned on watching it after the 18th at some point, but now I'm ready for the 18th. He said this is according to Variety.com, and this was some person who got to watch part of it. He's never been a huge DC movie fan, including the theatrical version of the movie. But he also said the footage he got to see is the best DC film I've ever seen.
So they paid everyone that did see it.
I was gonna say I seen way more comments of what people seen. It's the worst DC film they've ever seen. So
so it's still bad. Still bad.
So Tom and Jerry.
Also, so does Tom and Jerry actually exist? They did. And then we found out what their mom's name was. Spoilers, it's Martha.
I was gonna say they were halfway through production, and then they're like, "Man, this Snyder Cut movie is killing us. We need to pull Tom and Jerry, pull the plug. We need to reallocate that money." They're like, "But we've already promised to release it. Here's what we do:
sold this.
We release 2 half-finished movies and hope that it works. It's called math." Tom v. Jerry. That's what I'm saying.
Tom v. Jerry. I want to know how many people were just like, this isn't Tom and Jerry, and shut it off.
Yeah.
Right.
How many more people would have probably kept watching, but they just thought it was the normal. They were just just leg.
It's just this one guy on Twitter. It was the best DC movie I've ever seen. I don't really like DC movies though, so
I've been waiting for Justice League so long that I've been watching everything on HBO Max.
I just started streaming everything.
Just everything, just in preparation.
I won't lie, before I even got that far into it, when I heard about it, open up HBO Max tab, Tom and Jerry.
To check. Yeah.
Nah, it's Tom and Jerry.
It's Tom and Jerry.
A side note, I've heard horrible things about the Tom and Jerry movie. I've heard it's not
Was it like in the real world? I have no interest in that. If I'm gonna get another Tom and Jerry movie, I want it to be 100% animated, like the last Tom and Jerry movie.
Yeah, I don't understand why people think we want our animated things to be live action, because most of the time that's not the case.
No.
Yeah.
Even in the movies where it was kind of okay, it was only mediocre at best.
Yeah.
Seeing Matthew Lillard as Shaggy was awesome. The rest of the movie,
Right.
You went in my mind, you channeled George W.
You got me once with your Shaggies. You can't get the getter. Again, don't mess with us.
Man, he's got. Oh, just one. I thought he was the dumbest one too.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was up to that point.
He was up to that point. I dread the next one they pull out.
Mm.
The Palin's still kicking around.
Right? Cruise. Oh.
Anyway,
Dumber.
Maddie D said because Who Framed Roger Rabbit made a lot of money. Yeah, Who Framed Roger Rabbit worked though because the central character was not an existing cartoon, and the fact that it was like this world where life and cartoons coexist was the whole like premise of the thing, and I feel like that worked. And all the actual like licensed cartoon characters in there, which amazing. That's got to be one of the few times you've got Warner Brothers and Disney characters interacting in a official capacity.
Yeah.
That was just like cool bonus, you know.
Plus, the actor was like hallucinating half the time, and that's pretty awesome too.
Oh yeah, I remember you talking about that.
Yeah. I can't remember his name, but the live action actor hallucinated for quite a while after that.
Listen, if you're gonna be method, don't do movies where you live with cartoon characters. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That or don't stop taking the meds.
Don't drink the doom juice. Whatever
Right.
it's called.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. That's what I got.
Okay.
I guess it's gonna be the end of the Snyder Watch.
Oh, are you sad?
Kinda.
No, we can
I
come
like-
up with something different.
Yeah, but there's few things as ridiculous that we get to talk about.
We'll find something. Don't
We'll
worry.
just make it a pun and we'll just be like Snyder Watch. We'll just be snide about things.
There will always listen. There will always be some Snyder Watch news because it's not Justice League news. It's Snyder Watch, and he's got a zombie movie coming out before long that looks
Sketchy.
sketchy at best.
Mhm.
And I don't hate his Dawn of the Dead remake. I think that was a fine movie,
Right.
but Army of the Dead looks questionable.
Actually, yeah, his Dawn of the Dead may be my favorite Snyder movie.
I think it might be the best.
Might be.
300's okay. I don't hate 300.
Yeah,
think-
yeah. 300.
I feel like 300 is the first time we got to go full Snyder. That's
Mhm.
when Snyder was allowed to go full Snyder because it's all the slow motion. I mean, it was like trend-setting use of slow motion. How perfectly Zack Snyder.
Well,
He
also,
loves his
he
slow
got-
motion.
He got to be a director of a Frank Miller comic. Like
Yeah.
if there is actually a comic that he should be adapting, it's Frank Miller stuff.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. Maddie
Because
D
he's
said-
already sucked out all the color anyways, so
Oh, okay. Paul says, I hate to say this, Snyder Watch doesn't have to end. He's still cranking stuff out. That's right. And I don't want to, I don't want to automatically crap on whatever he comes out with just because it's Zack Snyder. His visual style is amazing. I feel like his everything else lacks, though, in my opinion. But, no, yeah. And Maddie D said 300 is his favorite. Yeah. 300's not bad. I hate to say it, I went and seen Man of Steel like 2 times in the theater. 3, 2, and at least one of those was by myself. So I did not hate Man of Steel. I kind of like it.
You love the
I
Wobo
do
machine.
hate Kevin Costner in that movie though. He's the worst Pa Kent I've ever seen.
The characterization is not good, really, for any of the characters in Zack Snyder's DC stuff. I do love the Wobo machine. That destruction, I know that
dubstep destroyer of Earth.
yeah, I know the destruction is ridiculous, and yeah, Soups, fly him elsewhere, anywhere else. As a spectacle, though, it's pretty amazing. It is suspect that once like things have really fallen apart, you just don't see anybody else. There should be bodies everywhere, but whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, he killed a little bit more than one person, I think, in that movie.
well, somebody, I don't remember. I even just recently, I think I might have just had YouTube auto playing some stuff in the background, and they were talking about that movie, and how at the end the spaceship that they're like, there's an action scene happening in a spaceship and it goes down directly into a bunch of buildings into the city. Like, and that's when, like, other than the wub wub machine, that's when the big destruction started. Superman did that. He did that. It's like he killed hundreds, if not thousands, of people before they even touched down. So
Yeah.
did Superman do that? I don't know. I might have to rewatch it sometime. Fool me once, Zack Snyder. Shame on you.
You can't fool the fooler.
Yeah. Hey, Melanie.
Yeah.
Why aren't you amazed? Maybe you are. Why should we be amazed?
Okay. Well, I decided to go a little light this time since it's been a while. And I just wanted to share this because it made me chuckle. So there was a study, and you'll never guess what. Heterosexual men find attractive women with erect nipples more positive, deserving of altruism, and they expect good interactions with them, especially in interactions that involve like greater physical presence. So they did a study to find out if how men feel about women, attractive women. They were all attractive with not, they don't say hard, they say with erect nipples versus non-erect nipples. And you'd never believe it, but yeah, they seem to like them more. They're more,
never believe it, huh?
they're more positive. They're more willing to help them, especially if they have to be closer to them, and they think that they're just all around good people. So I'm gonna be going around without a jacket from now on, I think. That's how you should be made today, because people spent time and money from college in New York.
That's the part I'm amazed by. Like,
yeah.
Psychologists
spent time and money
I was
doing
gonna
a
say,
study.
I mean, I'm not surprised by the results. Where did they do the study?
It was at State University of New York at Oswego.
Are they going to do it again? I'm kidding.
They've actually done 3 studies on it. 3.
Why? I know why. Who's doing the studies? They're like, all right, why? If this is a controlled test, then why are all their nipples erect?
No, they did men and women actually, for some reason, women had more positive perceptions of them, but they didn't necessarily want to help them as much as men did, and they also didn't want to. This is another part of it I didn't mention. The men also believed more strongly that women with erect nipples should be included in their social groups, and women didn't feel that way about women with erect nipples. But there you go.
Hey, Paul. I'm sorry, this is totally off topic. Paul, is that information that you just messaged me, is that something you can say publicly yet, or is it, since you haven't like recorded it, you don't want to say it till it's done and confirmed? Anyway.
And can I respond to Matt real quick?
Yes.
Matty D says, why is the test being done at a strip club? It's not being done at a strip club. It's being done inside. If it were being done at a strip club, you wouldn't be able to tell necessarily. There'd probably be pasties and things involved. So yeah, that's one of the things that I do love me some science, but one of the things that I hate about it is when they waste their time on stuff like this, or building a working larynx of a 300,000-year-old subhuman species so we can know what it sounded like. And I'm like, why do we need to know what it sounded like? I really don't get it. But,
right.
Knowledge is never a bad thing, I suppose.
I mean, I'm more interested in this nipple thing for some reason. I'm kidding. It seems it seems more pointless than the Learnix thing. At least that's like, we want to find out something about history, kind of, and this is just like nipples.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it has some small psychological benefit, but I don't really think they needed a whole 3 studies, in fact, to figure this out.
All right, so welcome to Bullspit Hour, where we promote Paul's podcast. So we mentioned the Release the Snyder Cut book, which is apparently what it's being referred to as, is the Release the Snyder Cut book or whatever. Paul had said it was written by one Sean O'Connell, and he knows this because he is supposed to be interviewing him next week. So if you are curious about the Release the Snyder Cut book, go to electronicmediacollective.com, look up Bullspit with Moose or just Bullspit with Moose, and that'll have links to where you can subscribe to his podcast. But
Be on the Snyder Watch for that interview.
Yeah, be on the Snyder Watch for that interview. Paul, don't tell him about us. We're fine. It's cool.
Yeah,
he can do what he did. Listen, he can do what he's doing over there. We ain't judging. We just like to poke fun at the whole Snyder Cut thing in general, because it's such a weird, drug out, ongoing. You know what though? I think this guy probably agrees that it's a weird, drug out, ongoing like saga. He wrote a freaking book about it. So whatever. Don't tell him about us.
It's just another place where the faces are so cold.
You're looking up lyrics now, aren't you? I know you are. I know it. You don't know that much Bon Jovi.
No, I don't.
Okay.
Who does? What kind of monster does?
No, Bon Jovi probably doesn't even.
You know, if their faces are that cold, I bet something else is a little stiff, huh? I'm sorry.
Well, he's a cowboy.
All right, guys. So, 2 hours and 13 minutes. I told you it'd be a short one.
Yep.
God, we can't do it.
We can't do it at all.
I'm
No.
going to try, if I remember, and I decide to waste the time to do so, I'll make like a little application or something that's just simple countdown timer. But the key is I'm gonna tie it into our video feed so that when the countdown ends, it just is annoying sound then, so that we have to stop.
So we have to stop, yeah.
Or I'll just hit reset and we'll keep talking like I did.
It's recent
sometimes.
reads. It's recent reviews, man. It's
Yeah.
oh, that's where what have we been watching? That's where it gets us.
Yeah.
Hey, it's my life. Okay. All right. Well, that's all I got. Anybody else want to mention anything before we go?
Hey, go check out Ben's TikTok. It's Danny O'Mani 1987. I say that because he's pimped us a bunch on there, and he probably has more viewers than we do. So yeah, check out check out that guy, Danny O'Mani, straight up legit.
And tell his commenters about us.
Yeah. yeah. Tell him we sent you, because he'll be like, oh,
Yeah.
he's probably told you more about us than we've told you about him so far, and that's not fair.
No, you're right. He does fun videos too. Good call. All right. Well,
Oh wait, real quick. I'm sorry.
just fine.
For in the future, and hopefully before we're dead, if my nieces ever listen to this, happy birthday. Okay, now
To
we
Bella?
can go on. Yeah,
Yeah,
Bella.
today is Bella's birthday, her niece. Not the one that I feel is too young. Not that I should have any say, but I feel is too young to watch Promising Young Woman. The other one. Who
That is appropriately aged.
have you watched it with her yet?
No, we decided to watch
Freaky?
Freaky instead. Yeah.
I mean, that's a more fun movie.
Mhm.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for getting 7 years itchy with us.
Oh, man.
Oh yeah.
I know our podcast anniversary thing this year has been like, man, in the past, Jesse bought us a shout out recording from the doctor.
Yeah.
And like, we used to do things But that, you know what? Those weren't 7-year itch years.
Right. Like most anniversaries, we used to be fun.
Oh, that's good.
All
But
right.
I mean, our hardcore listeners, we definitely make them catchy or something. We infect them with something because they all stick around and love it. So
It's true.
thanks, guys. We love you too.
Yeah, thank you.
Hashtag release the 100. I love, dude. He's been hitting us with that every episode for the 100 watch for several episodes now.
The secret is we are the 100.
Listen, I can say this: it exists.
It does. At least
Maybe
all
maybe it has existed all along.
And maybe it's completed even.
It's not. You're gonna need $2 million.
Yeah, you tell Warner Brothers to give us a bunch of money. We'll have that thing up for you.
We just need a little bit of that and some Jared Leto, and we'll be good to go.
Yeah.
Right. But he was in it the whole time. I swear.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
Mhm.
Come on. Yeah.
Been around
We
since
just need
Spider
him now
Buggy.
because we're on video. So like,
Maddie
before
D
we just
says-
chat his voice.
Sorry, Maddie D says been around since Spider Buggy.
Yeah.
I don't know why that, but that episode in particular, I think we were talking about Old Man Logan.
Yeah.
I still vividly remember sitting, recording that episode, and of the hundreds, yes, more than hundreds of episodes we've recorded. I don't know why that sticks in my mind so much.
That was such a fun episode, and we had so many like crazy, I don't know, asides because it's such a crazy book. There's a Venom
Yeah.
T-Rex in that book. There's like the Abomination, which sparked thanks Abomination.
Actually, and I don't even think we went with Spider Buggy for the episode name. That we went with Thanks Abomination.
Yeah,
I was
we did, yeah.
In retrospect, it's like, dude, who's gonna listen to that? But whatever. Hey, go to Grolix
the
Podcast.
Grolix podcast with its catchy titles.
Yeah. Oh, the last couple I've been struggling a little. Go to grolixpodcast.com if you want. Go visit the archives. Click episodes and search up Abomination. Thanks Abomination or Old Man Logan. I think was the episode the book we were talking about. It's a fun episode.
Mm-hmm.
And that's years ago now, so that's an early one.
Yeah.
Also, there's some whatever. There's like interesting time shenanigans in some of those early episodes that might be surprising to people. Okay, one episode, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, and there's some important things if you believe that the 100 cut exists.
Right.
You may need to know those things.
Mm-hmm. It does.
It might have existed since episode like 27 or something.
Also, if you believe the 100th episode exists, you might also believe that I read volume 1 of Exo Manowar, which
Yeah.
if we ever did have a pull list, if that ever truly existed, that might have been one of the final pulls.
What's
Yeah.
that? You mean that thing on the website that still occasionally gets votes? And I'm like, oh God.
I'm not sure that ever existed.
The one on the website that I thought I removed, except I seen it on a sidebar of some random page one day, and I was like, "Oh my God, no!" It's still there.
Why can't I quit you?
Oh.
Broke back sidebar.
Speaking of fan service, I think our show is just nothing but fan service for like 2 fans or 1 fan that has actually been around since that long to know what we're talking about.
Yeah, at this
Oh.
point, yeah. Matt's the only one who knows what we're talking about now.
He says
Yeah.
I missed the pull list.
Yeah.
Well, hey everybody, thanks for listening. Hashtag in the past.
Oh, that's salt with a side of salt right there. Hashtag in the past.
You know what? I haven't read any comics for the last week or so, but I'm serious. Like I said it. I was like, as soon as they bring back Swamp Thing, I'll start reading comics again. Swamp Thing, they got a new Swamp Thing book this month, so
Yep.
I have read some, and
Yeah, how is that? Because it looks weird. Like
I
it's
haven't
like they
read it
made the Swamp Thing like, oh,
I need to. I just don't
It's
know.
like they made him a symbiote or something, right? I don't know.
I think it's definitely a different thing. Like I'm pretty sure it's a different character, which is fine. You can do that with Swamp Thing.
Right.
I mean, Alec Holland's kind of the best, but even he wasn't technically the original Swamp Thing. So
Right.
yeah, I don't know. I haven't checked it out yet. So I will.
I'll try. Yeah, we're gonna keep moving forward. Hopefully, that will mesh in with some of our past goals at some point.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
then
it's got to collide at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, working on it.
It's 2021. We're looking forward.
Yep.
All right.
Good episode.
All right. Take it easy, everybody. Have a good weekend. Or a
Yep.
good week if you're listening on the audio podcast.
Spring break, go crazy.
Woo!
Woo!